Muslim Women's Right Day is being celebrated across the nation to commemorate the first anniversary of the law against instant triple talaq. The Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Act prohibits the practice of instant divorce by Muslim men. Any violation of the law is punishable by jail term of up to 3 years. On the first anniversary of the Triple Talaq Bill's passage in Parliament, Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar hailed its impact on the lives of Muslim women. The INB Minister in a tweet said, and I quote, "1 year ago on 30th July 2019, Narendra Modi government abolished Triple Talaq. It has contributed to women empowerment and given them the dignity they deserve in our society. Now Triple Talaq cases have dropped by 82% since the law was enacted," unquote. To commemorate the first anniversary of the law against instant triple talaq, Union Minority Affairs Ministry is celebrating 31st July and 1st August as Muslim Women Rights Day. Speaking to DD News, Union Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi said triple talaq cases have declined by 82%. In an apparent dig at the Congress, Naqvi said triple talaq or talaq-e-biddat was neither Islamic nor legal, but despite that, the social evil was given political patronage by merchants of vote bank. Representing India at the 6th BRICS Environment Ministers meeting, Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar said that India attaches great importance to the grouping and believes that equity, common but differentiated responsibilities, finance and technology partnerships are key pillars towards attainment of global goals of climate change mitigation and adaptation. Prakash Javadekar also said India is walking the talk on Paris Agreement and its climate commitments. He elaborated on the efforts made by India in areas relating to sustainable urban management, tackling marine litter, air pollution and the cleaning of rivers. Highlighting the efforts made by India in controlling air pollution, Union Minister said that in 2015, India launched the Air Quality Index, monitoring in 10 cities, and today it has been extended to 122 cities. He also informed that India in 2019 launched the National Clean Air Program, the goal of which is to reduce particulate pollution by 20 to 30% relative to 2017 levels by 2024. The environment ministers of the 5 BRICS countries participated on Thursday via video conference under the presidency of Russia. The union minister stressed upon the need to implement the various initiatives under the BRICS and for the speedy implementation of the BRICS MOU. The minister also offered that India could provide the platform wherein all the best practices in environmental management in BRICS countries could be showcased. In Bihar, the flood situation remains critical. Number of affected districts rises to 14. The discharge of water from the Kosi and Gandak barrages has increased due to heavy rainfall in the catchment areas of the rivers in Nepal. Currently, over 40 lakh people of 108 blocks across 14 districts are affected by floods in Bihar. In Bihar, 19 relief camps and 1,000 community kitchens are being run in flood-affected areas. The Met Department has predicted moderate to heavy rainfall over the catchment areas of Mahananda and Kosi during the next 24 hours, while light to moderate rainfall is expected in the catchment areas of Gandak and Bagmati. The Buri Gandak River has crossed the highest flood point of 2017 at Sakra in Muzaffarpur and Adwara River in Bishunpur in Darbhanga district. In view of this, the Central Water Commission has issued a red alert in these areas. In Assam, flood situation worsens after incessant rains. One more death was reported in Morigaon district yesterday, taking the total toll to 108 due to the flood in Assam. Over 12 lakh people across 22 out of 33 districts of Assam remain affected by flood water. Dhemaji, Biswanath, Lakhimpur, Chirang, Barpeta and Golpada remain the worst affected areas. According to Assam Disaster Management Authority, 29,981 people are taking shelter in 135 relief camps. NDRF and SDRF teams have been deployed across the state of Assam, including at places like Dhemaji, Sonitpur, Tinsukia, Jorhat and others. Total of 81,133 persons have been evacuated by the NDRF, SDRF, Circle Office and Civil Defence personnel so far. The weather in the national capital got pleasant after a spell of showers in the wee hours of Friday. The IMD has forecasted more showers, and according to the Indian Met Department, convergence of lower level winds from Arabian Sea over northwest India is very likely to continue. India's total COVID-19 recoveries have crossed the milestone of 10 lakh with over 30,000 recoveries for the 8th successive day. According to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, national recovery stands at 64.54% with 37,223 new recoveries in the past 24 hours. Fatality rate stands at 2.18%. COVID-19 has claimed 35,747 lives so far. The country has 5,45,318 active cases. 10,57,805 people have been discharged so far. India achieved another landmark, more than 6 lakh tests done in the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry continues to implement the strategy of comprehensive testing, tracking and treatment to effectively tackle the COVID-19 pandemic. The objective is to raise the testing capacity to 10 lakhs tests per day in the medium term. The 19th meeting of the high-level group of ministers on COVID-19 was held in New Delhi under the chairpersonship of Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan. And speaking on the occasion, the Union Health Minister said that around 1 crore tests were conducted during the past 1 month. He further added that resources to tackle COVID-19 also increased across the country. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, Housing and Urban Development Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, Chemicals and Fertilizers Mansukh Mandavia and MOS Home Nityanand Rai attended the meeting. Issues related to COVID-19 were discussed in the meeting. Bihar government has extended the lockdown due to coronavirus till August 16th now. As per the order, movement of individuals will remain strictly prohibited between 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. throughout the state except for essential activities. Maharashtra remains the worst affected state from deadly COVID-19 pandemic in the country. Records 11,147 COVID cases reported from Maharashtra in the past 24 hours. Bihar government and private offices have been allowed to open with 100% strength. Air and rail travel is allowed to operate. Offices, banks and other offices would function with 50% strength, while all religious places, parks will remain closed. The Jharkhand government has also extended the lockdown restrictions due to COVID-19 outside the containment zones till August 31st. The order will come into effect from 1st August. The Tamil Nadu government has also announced an extension of the ongoing general lockdown in the state till August 31st. In Tamil Nadu, all private offices, industrial establishments and export-oriented units would be allowed to function with 75% of their employees. Also, vegetable and grocery shops would be permitted between 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. The Kolkata airport has announced extension of restrictions of flights arriving in Kolkata from 6 cities till August 15th in view of the rising COVID-19 cases in the city. The 6 cities are Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Nagpur and Ahmedabad. Earlier on July 17th, flight operations to Kolkata from the 6 cities were suspended on the request of West Bengal government till July 31st. Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari and Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar today jointly inaugurated the Rajendra Setu in Patna. Gadkari joined in through a video link. The rehabilitated western flank of Mahatma Gandhi Setu over Ganga will connect Patna and Hajipur in North Bihar. Ahead of the Independence Day, the government has urged all citizens not to use national flags made of plastic. In an advisory to states and union territories, the Union Home Ministry has asked the states and the union territories to ensure strict compliance of the flag code. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the grand finale of Smart India Hackathon 2020 on 1st August via video conferencing. He will also be interacting with students on the occasion. The Smart India Hackathon is a nationwide initiative to provide students with a platform to solve some of the pressing problems we face in our daily lives and thus inculcate a culture of product innovation and the mindset of problem solving. It has proved to be extremely successful in promoting out-of-the-box thinking in young minds. Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank called on Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu yesterday to brief him on the new Education Policy 2020. The minister also handed over a copy of the policy and also a note highlighting the salient features of NEP 2020 to the Vice President. Union Minister for Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Rural Development and Panchayati Raj Narendra Singh Tomar stated that, as emphasized by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, new technology in the field of agriculture and allied sectors through startups and agripreneurship should be promoted. After the announcement of the date for Bhumi Pujan of Ram Janmabhoomi Temple, preparations are underway in full swing in Ayodhya. Ahead of Bhumi Pujan, Varanasi Postal Department has started the sales of photo frames of stamp tickets containing multiple pictorial representations of episodes from the epic Ramayana. With having an agreement with the KVIC, the Indo-Tibetan Border Police became the first force among the Central Armed Police Forces to have supplies from the Commission. According to the agreement, total 1,200 quintal of mustard oil is being procured from KVIC by ITBP with a total financial implication of rupees 1,73,80,000. Niti Aayog's Atal Innovation Mission has joined hands with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Wadhwani Foundation organizations that can lend credible support and expertise in the entrepreneurship and innovation space. AIM iCrest has been designed to enable the incubation ecosystem and act as a growth hack for AIM's Atal and establish incubators across the country. Actor Sushant Singh Rajput's father, Krishan Kishore Singh, have filed a caveat in Supreme Court to oppose actor Rhea Chakrabarty's petition seeking transfer of case lodged in Patna to Mumbai court. The Bihar government has also filed a caveat in Supreme Court requesting it not to pass any order on Rhea Chakrabarty's case without hearing it. Leader of opposition in Maharashtra Assembly and former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, has questioned Maharashtra government for not handing over this case to CBI despite a huge public sentiment about handing over this case to CBI has surfaced. Coronavirus has claimed the lives of over 6.77 lakh people worldwide, while over 1.74 crore has contracted the infection so far. Over 1.09 crore people have recovered worldwide from COVID-19 so far. US and Brazil remain worst affected in terms of COVID-19 infections and fatalities. US and Brazil are followed by the UK with almost 46,000 fatalities, further followed by Mexico and Italy. The US has so far recorded over 46.34 lakh cases and over 1.55 lakh deaths. Brazil has crossed the 26 lakh mark and recorded over 26.13 lakh infections and over 91,000 deaths. New infections appear to have peaked across the United States, but hospitalizations continue to rise and the death toll is soaring. Over 68,000 new cases of infections and over 1,400 coronavirus-related deaths were reported nationwide yesterday. Arizona, Florida and Mississippi remain worst affected states across US, reporting record high new deaths in one day. US reporting record high new deaths in a day. Over 1.4 million laid off Americans applied for unemployment benefits last week, further evidence of the devastation the coronavirus outbreak has unleashed on the US economy. The Labour Department's report on Thursday marked the 19th straight week that more than 1 million people have applied for unemployment benefits. Brazil's First Lady, Michelle Bolsonaro, was tested positive for the coronavirus. According to a statement by the President's team, Michelle is in good health and is being taken care of by the President's medical team. On Thursday, Brazil's Science and Technology Minister Marcos Pontes too tested positive for COVID-19. He is the fifth minister of Bolsonaro's cabinet to test positive for the virus. 58,271 new confirmed cases and 1,189 additional deaths reported by the Health Ministry push the country past 2.6 million infections and over 91,000 killed. Britain's Health Secretary Matt Hancock said that the COVID-19 lockdown in parts of northern England will be tightened owing to an increasing rate of transmission in these areas. Households in Greater Manchester, parts of West Yorkshire and East Lancashire are not allowed to meet indoors till further notice. Britain government has added Luxembourg to the list of countries requiring travellers to quarantine for 14 days when they arrive in the UK. The decision comes 6 days after the same demand was reimposed on arrivals from Spain. The new rules will now apply to the whole of Britain, which has a total of more than 3 lakh cases and a death toll reaching 46,000. The World Health Organization said on Thursday that any country which supports the COVAX financing initiative has a better chance of getting a successful COVID-19 vaccine. In WHO's Geneva briefing, Chief Scientist Soumya Swaminathan said the more countries that join COVAX, a scheme designed to guarantee fast and equitable access globally to COVID-19 vaccines, the greater its chances of success. More than 75 countries have expressed an interest in joining COVAX, which is co-led by the Gavi Vaccines Alliance, the WHO and Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations. It aims to deliver 2 billion doses of effective, approved COVID-19 vaccines by the end of 2021. US President Donald Trump said that he did not want to delay the vote, but he expressed concerns that millions of mail-in ballots would cause problems and make elections fraudulent and inaccurate. Trump cited several media reports recently about potential problems with mail-in ballots arriving late and said it could take weeks, months or even years to sort it out. The date for the presidential election, however, is set by the law, which is the 3rd of November as of now. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that US efforts to lead an international awakening against the Chinese government is working and thus the tide is turning. Testifying before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing on Thursday, Pompeo said international support for American policies is visible, including the step-up of maritime maneuvers in the South China Sea. Washington and Beijing have each closed one of the other countries' consulates, and an end to Hong Kong's special trading status was also announced. US Congressman and civil rights icon John Lewis was laid to rest in Atlanta. John Lewis was eulogized by 3 former presidents and was hailed as a founding father of a fairer and better United States. Saudi Arabia's King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud was discharged from hospital upon recovery from a successful laparoscopic surgery of gallbladder removal. The Saudi king was admitted to hospital on July 20th to undergo medical checks after suffering from inflammation in gallbladder, which he had removed later that week. The king has since remained at the hospital to recover under medical surveillance. NASA's next generation Mars rover Perseverance blasted off from Florida's Cape Canaveral. It will land in Mars' Jezero crater in search for signs of life and explore the planet's geology. The next generation robotic will also deploy a mini helicopter to test out equipment for future human missions. It is expected to reach Mars by February 2021. Teenage hoopster and India international principal Singh has made rapid strides in the last few years and is now taking his next big step towards realizing his dream. Well, that's all we have in Express News. Stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.